You exist in a paradox. Right now, this very moment, you're trapped between two impossible truths. A paradox that has destroyed philosophers, tormented theologians, broken minds trying to solve it for thousands of years. Here it is. Does God know the future? Think about that. Really think about it. If God knows everything you will do tomorrow, then do you really have free will? Or is your entire life already written? Choose one. You have to choose one. Either God is all-knowing, which means everything is predetermined, which means your choices don't matter. You're a puppet. Free will is an illusion. Or humans have genuine free will, which means God cannot know the future, which means God is not truly all-knowing. God has a limit. It's impossible. Both can't be true. For 3,500 years, the greatest minds have tried to solve this. They failed until 1927. Something happened that changed everything. A physicist named Werner Heisenberg made a discovery so disturbing, so reality-breaking, that would eventually solve this ancient paradox. He discovered something about how reality actually works, and it shouldn't be possible. Listen carefully, because this next part will change how you understand existence itself. At the quantum level, particles don't exist in definite states. They exist in superposition, multiple states, simultaneously, all at once. An electron isn't here or there. It's both here and there until you measure it. All possibilities exist at the same time. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy. This is confirmed, repeatable, tested thousands of times. This is science. Niels Bohr explained it with the Copenhagen interpretation. Reality doesn't have definite properties until it's measured. Before measurement, the particle is a probability wave. All possible states existing simultaneously. But the moment you measure, the wave function collapses. The particle becomes real in one specific state. Everything else disappears. Just by looking, just by observing. This is called the observer effect. And it's the most disturbing discovery in the history of science, because it means consciousness affects physical matter. Your observation changes reality. Now let me show you the proof. The double slit experiment. Scientists fire electrons at a wall with two slits. Don't observe which slit the electron goes through. What happens? The electron behaves like a wave. It goes through both slits simultaneously, creates an interference pattern on the wall. One particle, two places at once. Impossible, but proven. Now add a camera. Place a detector at the slits. Observe which slit the electron actually goes through, and everything changes. The interference pattern disappears. The electron goes through one slit. It becomes a particle, a single object, in one place. The act of observation collapsed the superposition, turned possibility into reality just by watching. Think about what that means. Your consciousness collapses wave functions. What you focus on becomes real. Erwin Schrodinger was so disturbed by this, he created a thought experiment that still haunts physicists today. Put a cat in a sealed box. Inside the box, a device that might release poison based on a quantum event, according to quantum mechanics. Until you open the box and look, the cat is both alive and dead. Simultaneously, both states exist at the same time. Only when you look does it become one or the other. A cat can't be both alive and dead, but the math says it can. The experiments prove it's true. At the quantum level, superposition is real. Eugene Wigner took this even further. If observation collapses reality, and observation requires consciousness, then consciousness itself is creating reality, not discovering it, creating it. Think about that. Your mind isn't passive. Your mind is active. Your consciousness is literally creating the world around you. John Wheeler, the physicist who named black holes, proposed something called a participatory universe. The universe doesn't exist independently waiting to be discovered. It requires observers to bring it into existence. You're not a spectator watching reality. You're a participant creating it, moment by moment, through observation. This is mainstream physics, not fringe, not pseudoscience. This is what the mathematics shows, what the experiments prove. Consciousness collapses wave functions. Observation determines reality. Now, pay attention, because what I'm about to show you will break everything you think you know. If quantum mechanics shows us that superposition is real, that multiple possibilities exist simultaneously until observation collapses them into one, then think about what this means for an ancient paradox. Think about free will and divine knowledge. What if they're not opposites? What if they're complementary? What if God and you can both be true? God is omniscient. God exists outside time. From God's perspective, God can see all possibilities simultaneously, all potential futures, all superpositions, every choice you could make, every path your life could take. They all exist at once, like a quantum superposition. But here's the key insight. Seeing all possibilities is not the same as forcing one to happen. God knows what you will choose, but God does not determine which choice you make. You do. Your choices collapse the superposition. Your decisions bring one specific future into actuality. The paradox is resolved. God is omniscient. You have free will. Both are true. This principle is described with stunning precision in ancient texts, not as metaphor, not as poetry, as mechanism, actual physics, written thousands of years before quantum mechanics was discovered. How? Genesis 1, the creation account. Most people read it as mythology, poetic legend, but read it through quantum physics. Verse 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Simple, but then verse 2 reveals something crucial. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. Formless, void, no definite state. That's superposition. Unlimited potential, existing simultaneously, before observation. Then watch what happens. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Not there had been light. Not light appeared. The act of speaking, of declaring, of observing, brought light into existence. Observation collapsed the wave function. The pattern repeats throughout Genesis. God said, and it was so. God said, and it was so. Over and over. Each time God observes, reality manifests. Each declaration collapses possibility into actuality. That's the observer effect, written 3,500 years before quantum mechanics. But here's where it gets impossible to ignore. Verse 4, God saw that the light was good. He observes, he measures, he brings it into awareness. And God separated the light from the darkness. Observation created distinction. Measurement created defined reality from undefined potential. That's not mythology. That's quantum physics. In Hebrew, now look at the prophets. Isaiah 46 verse 10. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. God knows all possibilities, all potential futures. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. But God's purpose doesn't negate your freedom. God sees what you will freely choose. God's knowledge is certain. Your freedom is real. Both at the same time. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The word substance is Greek, hypostasis. In philosophy, it means underlying reality, foundational essence. Faith isn't wishful thinking. It's the actual substance, the quantum field of potential, taking form through observation. You're not pretending your problems don't exist. You're choosing to observe the field of possibilities instead of the collapsed problem state. Listen to this. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 18. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Read that slowly. What is seen is temporary. What is unseen is eternal. The visible collapsed state is temporary, transient, subject to change. But the invisible field of potential is eternal, permanent, the source. He's giving direct instruction. Stop observing the collapsed state. Stop collapsing the superposition into the current problem. Observe the field instead. Observe the possibilities. Observe the solution. That's how you change your reality. not by fighting the current state, by collapsing a different superposition. This is quantum consciousness technique, written in the 1st century. Proverbs 23, verse 7. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The Hebrew word for thinks is sha'ar, to calculate, to measure, to observe inwardly. What you observe internally becomes your external reality. Your internal observation collapses the superposition of your life into your external circumstances. Change your observation. Change your reality. This is ancient quantum physics. Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind. Complete restructuring through new observation patterns. The world operates on observation of the current collapsed state, but the transformed person observes the field, observes possibilities, observes the invisible becoming visible through faith. That's transformation. That's different superposition collapsing. Now here's what should genuinely disturb you. If consciousness really does collapse wave functions, if ancient teachers understood this, then they understood something we're only just rediscovering. They knew how reality works, at a fundamental level, deeper than we do now. Think about this timeline. 3,500 years ago, ancient texts describe observer-dependent reality. 2,000 years ago, teachers give specific techniques for consciousness and manifestation. 400 AD, Council of Nicaea filters and standardizes texts. Dark Ages, original language is forgotten, texts reinterpreted through medieval understanding. 1500s, Reformation happens, but still filtered through limited perspective. 1927, quantum mechanics discovers observer effect. We spent 1,500 years reading these texts through a lens that removed their scientific precision. What if these weren't just spiritual teachers? What if they were quantum physicists who didn't have our vocabulary? What if they understood reality deeper than we do? Here's what matters. If what we just explored is true, if observation really does collapse reality, then every moment, you're creating your experience through what you focus on, not just thinking about it, observing it. Quantum physics shows that repeated observation stabilizes a particular state. You keep looking at your problems, you're collapsing the wave function into that reality. Again, and again, and again, you keep observing lack, you're measuring that state into existence. But here's the key. These ancient texts don't just describe a problem. They give the solution. Fix your eyes on what is unseen. Don't observe the collapsed state. Observe the field of possibilities. Believe and do not doubt. Single-pointed observation without wavering. No contradictory measurements. As a man thinks, so is he. Your internal observation becomes your external reality. This isn't positive thinking. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. You're not pretending your problems don't exist. You're choosing which quantum state to observe into manifestation. Every moment, every thought, every focus of attention. You're collapsing wave functions. The question is, which reality are you observing into existence right now? And here's what should keep you up at night. If this is true, if consciousness really does create reality through observation, then who were these ancient teachers who understood it so precisely? How did they know? The paradox of free will and divine foreknowledge isn't resolved by denying one or the other. It's resolved through quantum understanding. God knows all possibilities. You freely choose which one becomes real. Your freedom is genuine. God's knowledge is complete. Both are true. This is God's paradox. And you're living in it every moment, making it real through your choices, through your observations, through what you focus on and what you declare about your life. You have the power to collapse superposition into any reality you choose, just like the ancients taught, just like quantum physics proves. The invisible field of potential is always there. All possibilities exist simultaneously. Your job is to observe the one you want, to declare it, to believe without doubt, to move toward it, to become it. That's free will. That's how consciousness creates reality. That's God's paradox, resolved. Now you know. What are you going to do with this knowledge? What superposition are you going to collapse into existence? What reality are you choosing to create? Starting right now,